from the BJP? Have they tried to defend their PM candidate as they have in the past numerous times?
Well, the BJP is likely to defend its prime ministerial candidate, and as I just told you, it is likely that they will take this line of defense, saying that what about someone waving their hand? Doesn't it count under the poll code violation? So that is likely to be their line of defense. But remember, Nishita, if you recollect the events, or if you recollect some of the events in the past few weeks, the BJP has always somewhere tried to utilize that grey area in the rules. First, they went ahead and published their manifesto, released their manifesto on the first day of polling, the first phase of polling, saying that they are releasing their manifesto in a different area. It doesn't come under polling. And after that as well, Narendra Modi went in a huge procession and filed his nomination on a day when there were several parts of the country which had gone to election. So these are some of the things that the BJP tried to use this grey area. Remember, India has now been for some time going for a multi-phase polling. So somewhere there has to be clarity on what happens with other areas when a certain area goes for polling. And BJP utilized this. Even in this case, there was indication, or there was rules laid out saying that no particular candidate can speak or campaign for his party in the 100-meter radius. But Narendra Modi came out and very subtly campaigned for himself. He went ahead and he didn't name BJP, but said people should keep in mind the economic failures in the last 10 years and relationships with Pakistan and the job rate, indirectly referring to the UPA government. So these are the risks that Narendra Modi took. But looks like the whole idea of holding a party symbol with his inked finger now has landed Narendra Modi in trouble, Nishita.
Right. Thank you for joining us with all those details for now. Harish, we'll come back to you for more details on the same. Well, Narendra Modi has been booked under the Representation of People's Act of 1951. This is the subject of the act is the covering of election campaign during the period before 48 hours and after 48 hours after the election takes place in any state or region. Well, the Section 126 of the Representation of People's Act prohibits displaying any election matter 48 hours before the hour fixed for the conclusion of a poll in a constituency. My colleague Varghese joins us with more details on this. Well, Varghese, if you can just break down the Representation of People Act under which Narendra Modi has been booked for now.
The Representation of People's Act was initiated in 1951, and in that particular we have this clause in 126 1B. That is what he's been booked under. The 126 code says that prohibition of public meetings during a period of 48 hours ending with hour fixed for conclusion of poll. And the particular clause under which he's been booked under is display to the public any election matter by means of cinematograph, television or other similar apparatus. So it looks like the usage of the symbol during the television interview is what they are going to take a look at. So under 126 1B, it says any display to the public, any election matter, which could be the party symbol, by means of cinematograph, television or other similar apparatus. So any broadcasting material that would in fact help in in communicating the election symbol or broadcasting it across masses during the election period that is there between code of conduct in place for 48 hours, well, that is considered as a violation under the Representative of People's Act. So this is the kind of clause that has been, in fact, imposed upon, and this with a special reference to the imagery. So the election matter that has been circled over here could be the election imagery that was used, especially the White Lotus that was used during the conference, Nishita.
And also, what is the kind of punishment that this section can attract if proven guilty, Varghese?
Well, at present, what we know is that it could, in fact, lead to any person who contravenes the provision or subsection shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 2 years or with a fine or with both. So there is a provision which says that the person who in fact tries to violate any of it could in fact attract 2 years of imprisonment, or with a fine, or with both. So which section of this will be implied will be something that we'll have to wait and watch, Nishita.
Right, thank you for joining us with all those details there. Varghese, 126 1B is the representation of, under the Representation of People's Act is what Narendra Modi has been booked for. This is for his act of displaying the lotus symbol of the Bharatiya Janata Party right after casting his vote, which amounts to a violation of the Code of Conduct. The Congress, which was not too happy with this move of Narendra Modi, immediately approached the Election Commission. Now the Election Commission has sent across a notice to Narendra Modi. Of course, campaign had come to an end 48 hours before the close of polling time, and today since 7 a.m. Gujarat has gone into polling. All the constituencies of Gujarat have gone into this one phase of polling for the Lok Sabha elections. As we know, Gujarat is crucial for the BJP. Narendra Modi had won about 15 seats in the year 2009, and this time around the expectations is 20 plus seats from the BJP PM candidate, as a lot of expectations ride on his shoulders. But this sort of a violation has now brought an embarrassment from the BJP, wherever no one has come forward to defend the PM candidate so far. Meanwhile, there was a minor clash between BJP and Congress workers in Ahmedabad. An argument broke out between them, and it led to a sloganeering match between both of them. The police immediately interfered and dispersed the party workers. Well, one glitch in the Gujarat elections there, as Congress and BJP workers clashed in Ahmedabad. You can see sloganeering and both the groups shouting slogans against each other. And moving on now, an Innova car carrying money suspected to be distributed among voters in Telangana has caught fire in Suryapet. The money was hidden away in the engine compartment of the vehicle, and due to the heat, the notes caught fire. Several 500 and 1,000 rupee notes were found burnt in the vehicle. Well, these were the scenes witnessed in Suryapet of Andhra Pradesh, even as violations this time around seem to be an all-time high, despite the stringent rules and regulations being brought in by the Election Commission. A thick fat bunch of 500 and 1,000 rupee notes hidden away in the engine department of a vehicle in Suryapet, an Innova car in Suryapet, presumably to be distributed to voters at Telangana has gone into polls today, was found burnt. These were the scenes witnessed there, as several 500 and 1,000 rupee notes had been damaged beyond repair. Welcome back. Well, Chiranjeevi cast his vote at Jubilee Hills in Hyderabad today, but there was controversy over his voting as he skipped the queue to cast his ballot. But the people started arguing and asked him to go back in the line.
Your son is here. He should be in the queue, right? No, please be in the queue. During the election day, nobody is official. You may be separated by his
Well, Indian politicians' VIP mindset was on display again when Congress leader Chiranjeevi tried to jump the queue outside a polling booth. Chiranjeevi, who had come to the polling booth to cast his vote, tried to enter the premises even though there were a number of people waiting in the queue outside. He was then asked by a voter standing in the queue to go back in the line. Soon after, others waiting for their turn at the polling centre applauded Karthik, who told Chiranjeevi to go back in the line. Well, we have seen such a behavior in the past as well. Even in Karnataka, we saw several stars as well as prominent personalities just breaking the queue, walking right in, and the Election Commission officials allowing them to cast their vote without really standing in the queue. What they fail to realize is that on polling day, everyone is at the same level. Everyone has the power to cast just one vote, and that's the reason why they will have to stand in the queue.
sun is here. We should be in the queue, right? No, something. Please be in the queue. During the election day, nobody is official.
Let's listen to what Karthik, the man who objected to Chiranjeevi breaking the queue, had to say.
నన్ను తీసుకొచ్చి అనేది నేను క్వశ్చన్ చేశాను. లేదండి విఐపీ, ఎందుకంటే నేను కూడా జూబ్లీహిల్స్ లో ఉంటున్నాను. సో యూ షుడ్ ట్రీట్ మీ యాజ్ విఐపీ యాజ్ వెల్. సో మీడియా దృష్టిలో ఏంటి, పీపుల్ లివింగ్ ఇన్ జూబ్లీహిల్స్ లో అంటే విఐపీ పీపుల్ కదా. నేను ఇక్కడే ఉంటున్నాను కదా, ఐఎమ్ ఆల్సో విఐపీ. సో మాకు కూడా స్పెషల్ ట్రీట్మెంట్ కావాలి. అబ్జెక్షన్ ఏం లేదండి, సింపుల్. అంటే నేను యాజ్ అ పొలిటీషియన్ గా రెస్పెక్ట్ హిమ్, బట్ నేను అనేది ఏంటంటే బ్రింగింగ్ హిస్ ఫ్యామిలీ మెంబర్స్ ఇస్ నాట్ అ గుడ్ థింగ్. అంతే, దట్స్ ద ఓన్లీ.
Let's also listen to what Chiranjeevi had to say and how he defended his actions.
No. I'm just once again I want to strike the records. There's no question of violating. I'm not such a person who can violate. I'm just to cross-check whether my